Hi everybody, my name is Maurizio. I'm the resident bread baker at Food52, and today we are going to make savory sourdough rolls with a cheesy chive filling. You probably already know that cheddar cheese and chives go super well together, and when you have an enriched sourdough kind of flaky roll base, it's a perfect savory roll. And what I really love about this recipe is that the dough is really easy to mix together in your KitchenAid stand mixer. And once you have the dough in the fridge chilling and taken out, it rolls out really easy. These rolls would be amazing for any kind of brunch or late lunch, and they're just awesome as kind of like little snacks throughout the day as well. So let's get started. The first thing I like to do is to take my butter and cut it up into small pats or cubes to let it come to room temperature while I mix the rest of the ingredients. I like to use Kerrygold butter for my baking, and the reason is the butter has a higher butterfat content. And you can see how yellow this butter is because the Kerrygold cows are constantly grazing in Ireland due to the awesome weather that they have. It brings a real nice rich color to these savory rolls at the end, and also the additional butterfat just brings flavor and an improved texture in the end, a texture that's soft and flaky and just kind of melts in your mouth. Okay, next up is our flour. And for this recipe, we want to use our sourdough starter when it's nice and ripe. So you can see mine has been fermenting overnight and it's quite bubbly all over. So we'll just scoop that out right into the flour, our salt, just shy of 2 eggs, and our milk. So now we'll get to mixing. Okay, so now you can see all of the dry bits are incorporated in the main dough. So now what we'll do is we'll turn up this mixer to speed 2 and mix for a few minutes, strengthen it. All right, it's been a few minutes and you can see the dough is quite a bit stronger. It's still shaggy, but you've got a lot more elasticity in here and the dough looks quite a bit stronger. It also has kind of cleaned up the bowl, and it's a good sign at this point. I like to let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes to kind of let the gluten relax just a little bit. It's been about 10 minutes and you can see the dough has relaxed out and it's still quite strong. So we are ready to go here. It's also important at this time to make sure that your butter is at room temperature. So it's been sitting out while we've been mixing, and I like to just kind of press with my finger, and you can see it easily made an indentation in there. To start, turn the mixer on to low. You can see it's quite strong there in the mixer. And what we'll do is we'll throw 1 butter pat in at a time. The dough is getting clumped up on the dough hook, just kind of help it off. The reason you want the butter at room temperature is it just makes incorporating the butter into the dough much easier. If the butter is cold, when you try to mix it into the dough, it's just gonna clump together and move around in the mixing bowl. So you want it nice and soft. Okay, now that all the butter's been added, I just like to kind of clean up the bowl, and then we'll mix on speed 2 here for just a minute or two to make sure that the dough kind of comes together and everything is cohesive. Okay, so now it looks like the dough is pretty well developed here. You can see there's still a little bit of shagginess to it, but that's okay because during bulk fermentation, we're going to be giving it some stretch and folds, which will help this dough develop even further. So now I have just another container here that I like to transfer my mixed dough to for bulk fermentation. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes. So what we'll do now is we'll give it the first set of stretch and folds. And what I like to do is just use a small bowl of water to keep my hands moist so the dough doesn't stick excessively. And I like to give it 1 fold in each cardinal direction, so 1 north, south, east, and west. So wet my hands. And this dough looks pretty strong, so the recipe calls for 3 sets, but as always with bread and pastry, you kind of have to adjust based on how the dough's doing. And you can see how strong it is. There's nice ridges that are showing here on the dough, so it's pretty strong. So this first set is a little bit more intense, and the subsequent ones will be much more gentle. And that's it. I'll cover my bowl and set a timer for 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been another 30 minutes, and you can see now the dough is relaxed again, and it's looking even smoother and perhaps even a little bit of rise in there. So now we'll give it another set by wetting our hands. And because this dough is a little on the stronger side, we really just need to do kind of a gentle lift in the bowl. Now we'll set a timer and check again in 30 minutes just to see if dough is on track and if it does need another set or not. If you get to this point and your dough has really spread out in the container and you're not seeing defined edges or signs of strength, then go ahead and give it the last set of stretch and folds like we had done before. And now we'll cover the dough and we'll let it rest for the remaining 2 hours in bulk fermentation. The dough has risen very nicely in the bowl. You can see some good signs of fermentation there, and if you kind of press on it, you can see it's nice and puffy. And we'll put it in the fridge for an hour. We want the dough to be nice and chilled so that when we roll it out with a rolling pin, it's not sticking to the countertop, our hands, or the rolling pin. And now we will grate the cheeses to put in the interior of the rolls. So I'm going to be using a blend of 2 cheeses. I've got the Kerrygold Skellig Cheese and the Kerrygold Blarney Castle. And I love these 2 cheeses because they each have a distinct flavor. The Blarney Castle, which is similar to a Gouda, and it just melts so amazingly nice with the Skellig inside. The Skellig is really just a nice, strong, savory cheddar cheese, and it goes extremely well when it's grated as kind of the primary note on the interior. And so you get a balance of flavors. You get the smooth and mild Gouda, and then that more prominent and strong cheddar, and they just go really well together. Okay, now we have our 2 cheeses grated here in the bowl, and I like to kind of give them a little bit of a mix. And now that we have our chives chopped, our cheese grated, we'll start rolling our dough. Let's flour our dough. Okay, our dough, and you can see there's some good fermentation in there, so that's a good sign. I always like to see that. And I like to keep moving the dough as I'm rolling, just to make sure that we're not getting any pockets sticking on the bottom. But you can see this is the part that was on the top in the bowl, and so it's nice and smooth. So I like to keep that down on the work surface just to ensure that there's no sticking going on. All right, I'm happy with that. Next up, we've got our blend of cheeses and our chopped chives. So first, we'll spread on the cheese. With the cheese, just try to keep it, uniform thickness all edge to edge, and that way it rolls up nicely. At this point, I usually kind of flour my fingertips just a little bit, just so that they don't stick while I'm rolling. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start down here, get a little roll going. I press down here just to kind of seal that edge that's on bottom. Grab my chef's knife, and so we have about 17 inches here. I like to trim off just a little bit of the edges here because I don't usually fill all the way to the edge with cheese, so you can see there's mostly dough there. So we'll make a cut every 1.5 inches. So I'll do some little guide marks here. And you can use dental floss to do this if you like. It actually makes it a little bit easier because you don't have the knife kind of cutting and pushing through. But for me, I actually just prefer a knife, even though it squishes just a little bit. If your knife is super sharp, then you can cut through the dough with no problem. And this is also where, it's important to move a little quick when you're doing this whole process, because it keeps the dough cool, and that cuts easier with this knife. Already, look at that. All right. Leave a little space in between each roll, because as they're proofing, that dough is going to continue to puff up and this whole thing is going to expand. Okay, so it's been about 2.5 hours now, and you can see the rolls are fully proofed. They've puffed up and are now touching each other. And you can see that they're holding on to that interior pretty well, and they are ready to go right into the oven. The last step before the oven is a simple egg wash, about a tablespoon of whole milk and 1 whole egg. Just kind of brush that on the surface. This will help with coloring the top of the rolls and kind of add a little more flavor. And just a little bit of chive here. We'll add some more on the end too. Okay, now into the oven on 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 35 minutes, and we'll check on them. Here are the final rolls right out of the oven. Still piping hot. These smell incredible. Got some really nice color on top too. And I like to finish it off now with a little bit more chopped chives, and of course grating on our Kerrygold Aged Cheddar. It's a nice finishing cheese with kind of a rich and almost mellow and sweet flavor also. And it's really great to grate on top and kind of finish these off quite nicely. Since the rolls are still a little warm from the oven, kind of just makes it all meld together in one nice package. All right, let's dig into one of these guys. You can see that awesome flaky texture. The cheese on top kind of crackles and gets super crunchy, but the inside is soft and very, very tender. I can smell the chives and the cheese. That is crazy, crazy good, guys. Well, there you have it, my savory sourdough rolls with Kerrygold cheese and butter. And these things are absolutely incredible. I guarantee if you make them, you're gonna love them. I guess I'll be busy polishing off these rolls.